Now, I used to think that my reward, my payback, for having to sit through the sound of all kinds of terrible pop songs filtered through the head bones of my fellow transit travelers might be that those people would suffer some sort of a debilitating hearing loss later in life. That's bad karma, no doubt. But also, I'm afraid that medical technology is going to come up with a way to sort of restore their hearing, to come up with some sort of an artificial device that's going to compensate for all of that. So, having to listen to 50 Cent, which is bad enough at the best of times, coming out the other side of somebody's head, ultimately is going to have to be my own little purgatory here on Earth. Now, similarly, I first heard about the possibility that cell phones had some sort of a relationship with cancer, and I thought that, well, good for them then, those cell phone users with their inane conversations, standing in line at the bank or the grocery store and on the bus, certainly. Maybe they're going to get cancer, and that's going to be their punishment. Now, if I was ever asking for bad karma, that is the point at which I lit up a neon sign saying, "Please visit bad karma upon me." Certainly, what you put out, you get back threefold. Now, in order to sort of compensate for that, even though it was only internal, maybe I spoke it a few times, I'd like to try to help everybody who has a cell phone. See, by helping you, I'm going to correct my karma. Now, what I've done, inspired by another YouTube video, I think a lot of people have seen it, certainly, 1 million, couple million, something like that. What I've done is I've boiled it down. I've boiled it down into 4 little squares. Each of these squares represents a combination of the health risk and some action that we take. In health risk, what I've said is cancer. If cell phones cause cancer, if they are the cause for cancer, nothing we can do about that in terms of the rows here, or if they don't cause cancer. We can't affect that now. The cell phones exist, they're doing what they do. They either do or they don't cause cancer. What we can change, though, is what we do about it. We can either do something, and I'm not talking about little shields or little things that glue on there. Mind you, watch out for those nickel allergies from having a phone up against your head. Look it up. Do something. Not a shield, not a hands-free, none of these things. I'm saying we do something, we stop using cell phones. We remove them from our lives, except in cases of emergency and so on, where we have to have some way to communicate. Or we do nothing. By doing nothing, what I mean is that we continue in exactly the way that we are. Not that we do nothing, but that we do what we are doing now in the same way that we are doing it. We examine this. We look at the health risk. We look at our action, our potential action, what we can do. Now, if it turns out that cell phones do nothing, cell phones don't cause cancer, they aren't harmful at all, and we do something about it. My something is get rid of cell phones. But what do we end up with? I think we would have some unhappy people because they couldn't have the play-by-play of the Hills or American Idol, Next Top Model. You can't sit and discuss this with your friends while it happens. That's very unfortunate. You'd be a very sad person. However, if we do what I say, we get rid of cell phones, and science shows us that we were correct in doing that they cause cancer, and that cancer is terrible. Salivary glands, ear canal, benign tumors, operations, that's terrible. But you didn't have to have that, because we stopped using cell phones. You're pretty happy, right? I think you are. Now, in the event that they don't cause cancer and we do nothing, well, then it's just pretty much as it is today. And you and Justin and Kelly and Brad and Sally can all have your little phone conversations from 10 feet away with one another. Oh, I'm sorry, some of those were texts. Maybe you were okay. But life goes on pretty much as it is, and we stay almost the same. However, in the event that cell phones do contribute to cancerous growths in your body, and we do nothing about it, we continue to do exactly what we do, and we cave into the powerful cell phone lobbies. Oh my goodness. One! Not quite death. Not death. No. I put a skull and crossbones. That's the worst case scenario. There we're going to see maybe death. Maybe. I'm just saying. But certainly cancerous growths, an increased risk, and you're facing a future of surgery and so on. And understand that with cancer, all of our cells have cancer in them. They just need to be turned on and turned off. But once it's turned on, it's very difficult to turn off. If we cut out all the cancerous cells, then you can be saved. But listen to this. Cancer is never cured. Not cured, you're in remission. You're always waiting for it to reoccur, and it can. Rather than face that future, why don't we err on the side of caution? Here we see we'll be very, very happy, extremely happy in fact, if we prove it to be right. On the other hand, we'll be sad, because socially we will have to change about to actually speak to our friends and do things socially that we don't do when we have cell phones and so on. On the other hand, if we do nothing, life continues just as it is now. Nothing changes. You're either happy or sad, exactly as it is now, with no influence whatever on the way that you do things. However, if you find out that you have cancer, I think you're going to be pretty unhappy. So when we look at the columns in the ultimate equation, this is our worst case scenario. It's much safer for us to do something. My extreme something is to eliminate the cell phone from our lives. But maybe you have another solution. All I'm saying is think about it, because here in Canada we have socialized medicine. It's not the same as your hearing loss where you can be deaf and carry on with your life and adapt and overcome. If you have a cancerous growth, it's going to have to be treated, and I and every other Canadian citizen am going to have to pay for that. And God forbid you are suffering from cancer and you require some kind of a long-term health care, I'm going to be paying for that for years and years. Let's nip that in the bud. And I don't have to listen to you on the train anymore. So, something to think about. That's the end of my little video. And I hope you saw part 1. Cheers.